And all eyes continue to be glued on the weather forecast as we get closer to that solar eclipse on Monday. And with the chances of things being nice, 7 News reporter Lexi Bruning learns it's getting people in the right mind space for the crowd that could come.
A warning, driving into Watertown.
All the indications are that there's going to be a lot of traffic.
Early indications are also pointing to sunny skies for Eclipse Day on Monday. Well, with the exception of about 3.5 minutes. Up until this point, the forecast was up in the air, but in northern New York, sunshine has seemingly prevailed, at least for now.
At the moment, things look pretty good for Watertown and the Thousand Islands especially.
National Weather Service Buffalo's meteorologist in charge, Mike Fry, says there's a possibility for some clouds later in the afternoon Monday, but Watertown is looking to be in better shape than places like Buffalo.
If things end up a little cloudier than they look right now in western New York, those people are maybe headed your way too.
A bulk of Watertown's traffic will be around Thompson Park. More than 7,000 people have already signed up for the Total Eclipse of the Park event, but with this forecast, it will likely be more. A cell service booster station in the park will ensure people can use their phones. Compare this upcoming viewing to Concert in the Park, another event where people look to the skies. It usually draws a crowd of about 5,000 people every summer. At least 2,000 more people will be packed here.
We expect a lot more people just to walk up to the park.
Despite the potential for sunnier skies, for the most part, not much has changed for preparations. New York State Police will be fully staffed with uniformed patrols in Watertown, focusing on traffic and pedestrian safety. The Watertown Police Department will have more staffing for road patrol and Thompson Park. Lexi Bruning, 7 News.